bahagia satu hari.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's already 1 o'clock.
Good afternoon.
So, shall we start this oral presentation?
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a CHOPSCI presentation, oral presentation, room 6, with the title, The Future of Wellbeing in Disruptive Era, the Integration Between Research and Practice. Okay, first let me introduce myself. My name is Farah Farida. I will be your moderator this afternoon. I will be accompanied by operator. Who's my operator? Introduce yourself.
Saya Bu, Aldinda Najib.
Please introduce yourself with your face.
Oke.
Okay. Okay, I will be helped by Aldinda. And then before we start, I will read some of the rules that given to me as a moderator in how we will conduct this oral presentation. Okay, we will start at 1 p.m. but it's already past 2 minutes until 2:45 p.m. Consists of 7 presentation. First is Ahmad Muhammad. Are you there? Already present, Ahmad Muhammad Diponegoro?
Yes, I am present.
Okay. Are you will be the two of you as a presenter or just one?
Pardon?
Is there you will be present yourself or will Pak Fatan Hanurawan?
No,
you will be
I am
yourself.
myself.
Okay. And then Ahmad Yogi Pratama already here. Zahroh Rahmatu Shiva. Okay. You will be by yourself or with Bu Weni?
By myself.
Okay. And then we have a group here, increasing teacher skill in guiding students with special need through training. How many of you will be presenting?
Just one.
Okay. Muhammad Iqbal.
Yes.
Okay. And then the next group is Mr. Dedi Harry.
Yes, I'm.
Okay. Are you alone by yourself or there is someone else? How many presenters?
Only one. Only me.
Mr. Dedi Harry Sutendi, and then another group by the title Training Hero for Hero.
Just one.
Okay. Ms. Sri Handayani, and then the last is Ahmad Muhammad Diponegoro again.
Yes, okay.
You will be presenting
yeah.
too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I see everybody already here. And then I will continue that the whole process in this parallel class will be recorded and photographed by classroom host. And then the procedure for presentation, each presenter only have 7 minutes to present their presentation. And I will remind you if there's 3 minutes left before your time's up. And then we follow by 3 minutes for Q&A, if there are any Q&A session. So it's total in 10 minutes for each presenter. And to ask question, the audience should click raise a hand button and ask question directly to the presenter after I give you the permission. And during the presentation, if there are any troubles according to bad signal or internet failure, I will move to the next presenter, and then you will be you will be you will present after all participant has finished presenting. And then the process is repeated until all presenter already present their paper. Okay, is there any question before we begin? Aldinda, will you be my timekeeper? So you can alarm the presenter if there's 3 minutes left to the presentation time. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And now we will begin with the first presentation. The title of the article is Creativity, Curiosity, Open-Minded, Love of Learning and Perspective Character Strength in Student Well-Being During COVID-19 Pandemic Era. Mr. Ahmad Muhammad Diponegoro?
Yes.
Yes. Are
Okay.
you going to present by your PPT by yourself? Or
Yes,
by,
yes.
okay.
Okay. Wait, is it time to start?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will present my research with Professor Fatah Nurawan from Malang University. We do qualitative research. The title is Creativity, Curiosity, Open-Mindedness, Love of Learning, and Perspective. Character Strength in Student Well-Being during COVID-19 Pandemic Era. Okay. In the morning, we learn about character strength from the invited speaker. And now what we are doing is we are trying to do qualitative research in character strengths among students during COVID-19. Where the study was qualitative approach, the research design used a phenomenological research. The subject of the study were students of higher education who live in the city of Yogyakarta. The data were collected by an open-ended semi-structured questionnaire and depth interview. The data analysis technique in this research is a thematic analysis technique. The method of validating the initial result of the preliminary triangulation process. The result of the study indicated the presence of character strength of creativity, curiosity, open-mindedness, love of learning, and perspective in student happiness during the studying. Okay, this is the whole paper. Because you give me about 7 minutes, so I will continue. But if my time finish, so I have explained a whole thing. Okay, the introduction. Yeah. Many people were affected by COVID. Students are also affected. Does it affect the happiness in the learning process? Okay. From several psychological concepts, especially positive psychology, virtues can help students to restore their enthusiasm, among other, by strengthening their character. There are 5 character strengths in the first virtue. Well, whole of character strength was 24, and 5 of them in the first virtue. The first virtue called wisdom and knowledge. Okay. This is the 24 question. Yeah. The virtue and wisdom and knowledge. Virtue 2, courage. Virtue 3, humanity. Virtue 4, justice. And virtue 5, temperance. Virtuous Six Transcendence. Yeah. It's seen that the one and happiness is which we conduct this research to find out the existence of these 5 character strengths among students related to the happiness. The design of the research was a phenomenological research, and I have told you what is the phenomenological research. It's a model in qualitative research with description of one or more particular individual consciousness and experience of a phenomenon. There are 3 female students and 3 male students. The selected students were between 18 until 20 years old. The student had a knowledge and experience about learning during COVID-19 pandemic. The data were collected by an open-ended semi-structured questionnaire and in-depth interview. And the collected data were analyzed using a thematic analysis technique focusing on identifiable theme and pattern of cognitive, affective, and behavior. Result and discussion. From the study, we found out that there is obstacles, there's problem in learning because of the COVID pandemic. Yeah. First, it is the problem of communicating with the lecturers. Yeah. Sometimes it is very difficult for them to communicate because the lecturers are also busy. Yeah. They said that this was busier compared to what if they learn face to face. And they feel bored and fatigue, and the class schedule also their problems, because sometimes the lecturer changes the schedule without information, and there is so many stress from the instrument, like the signal problems from the village. Yes, many students come from the village, and they have to climb the tree, climb to the roof to get signal. Okay. Okay, then creativity. What we found out, creativity can be useful for solving various kind of problems. And because they can work together, the student get used to with the handphone, and they can communicate with their friends, and they can solve problems together. And very deep curiosity can make learning materials develop better. So the student can develop their materials together with their friend. And also because they have open-mindedness in the student, they feel that, is it more than 7 minutes or less? Sorry. Assalamualaikum.
Aldinda, masih ada waktu? Is there time left?
There is still 5 minutes for vision. Yes.
5
5
minutes.
minutes.
Yes.
We have, I said, for me, 7 minutes or 12 minutes.
Pardon?
I still have 5 minutes more.
Yes. Or is it, Aldinda, is it already 5 minutes, or is there still left 5 minutes?
It's
Okay.
already 5 minutes.
Already 5 minutes, so you
Yeah.
have 2 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. The strength of the love of learning character. The strength of the love of learning character can be seen in the phenomenon of students facing many difficulties in learning in the pandemic era, but they still strive to optimally acquire new skill, new topic, and new knowledge. They stated that sometimes the learning process didn't run effectively, but they keep trying and remain grateful for gaining new knowledge within the various limitations of online learning. Gratitudes make an important contribution to happiness. So there is a mix. There is for one virtue with another virtue. Gratitude, we found it was in transcendent virtue, and the student also feel grateful in this kind of situation, and this make them happy, getting happier when they feel grateful. Okay. Also, student also stated that in studying, they also exchange advice and other assistance regarding the content of lecture materials and healthy behavior to prevent the spread of coronavirus. This exchange of perspectives have developed happiness while living life in the pandemic era. This means that the strength of the perspective dimension character provides support for solving learning problems and other life problems. Based on the existence of 5 dimensions of character strength in students, it can be concluded that students have character strength of creativity, curiosity, open-mindedness, love of learning, and perspective in student happiness while studying in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic. 5 character strengths which are included in the classification of main virtues of happiness and the knowledge help students develop happiness within themselves. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad Muhammad Diponegoro. Okay, it's an interesting findings that this it's in Indonesian blood. I guess everybody will be happy whatever the circumstances they have,
Yeah.
and including the students. Okay, is there any question to add to the discussion from other presenters? You may raise your hand. None? Okay. If there's nothing, if there's no one to ask, we will continue to the second presenter, Ahmad Yogi Pratama.
Yes, ma'am.
Differences in hardiness hardiness between 8th grade students, right? 8th grade student in superior classroom or kelas unggulan and regular classroom in SMPN 1 Punut Tulung Agung. Yes, you may begin. Agenda, please start timing and remind Yogi if there's.
Okay, so
My PowerPoint is available. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. I'm very respect the first moderator and research partner, Miss Farah Farida Tantiani, and also respect all presenter in this room. I hope today even took as well. Thank you for time. Today I will give to time present the research entitled different in hardiness between 8th grade student of superior and regularity class in SMP Punut Tulung Agung. And first, introduction. COVID-19 pandemic is caused many countries, including Indonesia, to make some adjustment in many areas, including in educational system. And then the government has changed offline class to online class or PJJ in order to prevent the spreading of COVID-19 disease in March 2020. and then change recruitment, no easy adjustment, specifically or school suburban area. So drastic change can put pressure someone and can to be stressor, circumstance, and the even physical and psychological challenge. Well, the psychological challenge and physical cause stress to be a student. And then the stressor from the distant learning or prejudice student face to be handled different is not cause to experiment. This is when the factor can affect different the psychological factor such to be student personality, and psychology factor such the coping stress, personality control, social support, ethnic identity, and psychological hardness to may moderate to effect of stressor. And then hardness is thought to contribute to student ability to deal with stress. The higher student hardness, the less student with experience disease. And SMP why in SMP 1 Tulungagung? Because they receive a title leading school in Tulungagung, and this school not only known the academic achievement, but household name is the non-academic achievement. And then this school will has two type to classes name, superior class and regular class. Based on explanation will to be this study aim to examine two different hardness between a grade and superiority class and regular class in SMP 1 Munir. Then the literature review. This the research using a theory of Kosbara and Mati 1997, and their properties the refer to trait or aspect hardness the refer to 3GS. Number one, commitment to believe individual self, and control to review individual belief and complete to life, and challenge to strong manager belief and change normal to be normal. And then method. First, this the research we use population in the 357 student 8th grade student in SMP, and sample we use technique sample random sampling, and total population is 192 student. And method we use quantitative method and independent sample test analysis, and variable is hardness, and the research variable comparative superior class and regular class student. And instrument we use the hardness scale using for Kazana 2020, 28 item and 4 alternative answer. And the result, normality and homogeneity test result, we have normal date and two classes and equal variant with the group, and the result of based on result description analysis from the superior class and regular class, even both have moderate hardness. And based on analysis independent sample data, we found that significant difference hardness and between superior class and regular class 8th grade. And discussion. First, superior and regular class student moderate. First, the described date above found to hardness level superior and regular class student we are that moderate level. This means they are encouraged themselves and act passive or active in response stressful school environment and condition. This also show the general 8th grade student of SMP 1 overall has encouraged has a minute to stress to experience. And then different superior class and regular class. Even both case 8th grade school have moderate level and superiorities student who have more high hardiness, it may range 32% student we will in regulated class in student that report have high hardiness level in only 19%. Based on the result, although superiority class we that receive heavier demand because they are addition hours after school active, they are tend to have high hardiness, thus making the superior class student less opposed to negative effect of the stress. And the last, based on the result, most students in study their for superior class or regulator believe to ability to problem solve and decide. And the last, the conclusion, our research can be concluded to different in the hardiness of a grade student between the superior class and regulated class at SMP 110. And based on the result study, is recommended give student training and new orientation period, and teacher also be provide social support by not giving introduction and develop there. Okay, well, my presentation is very complete. I will apologize if it is wrong. Word on behalf, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Yogi. I forgot to say thank you to Mr. Ahmad Ponegoro. I'm so sorry.
No
Okay.
problem.
Is there any question to this article that Yogi present? Okay, if there aren't any question, we can go on to the next presenter, Miss Zahroh Rahmatu Shifa. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name.
Yes.
Okay, you can start to present your article, your presentation.
Yes.
Mr. Aldinda, is there, if there are left 3 minutes left, you remind with the chat room is okay. Itu ya, 3 minutes left. Okay. Okay, and then I'm sorry, Zahro, I have to ask. I don't know whether the committee already prepared the presentation. I don't know, but if there any, you can add to the chat room, Aldinda. Okay. The committee hasn't told me anything. Okay, Zahro, you can begin your presentation.
Okay.
Sorry.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I will present the result of our research entitled the effect of appreciative inquiry method to improve sense of community among 221 EFOP members. First of all, we need to know what EFOP is. Islamic Family of Psychology, or EFOP, is an Islamic organization under the Student Executive Board of the Faculty of Psychology Education, Universitas Negeri Malang. College life is not only limited to academic activities, but also non-academic activities such as organization. Organizations are important to students to follow because several universities, including Universitas Negeri Malang, recommend that students join at least one organization. In addition, greetings to the world of work, organizational experience is also an important consideration. Organization can also be an alternative activity when lecturers start to get boring. Sense of community is very important to members of an organization to have, because sense of community can increase a sense of togetherness among members to support their performance in achieving organizational goals. Based on the result of our survey, it was found that 17 of 21 EFOP members rate their sense of community as still low, because pandemic condition. They never met face to face, only communicate via WhatsApp group. Many members are still passive and don't contribute much. Based on my observation that I have been a member of IFOP for 2 years, it was found that lack of knowledge and understanding of members about organizational flow. In a group, a sense of community can be formed with positive interaction or involvement among its members. The method to improve sense of community with interaction and involvement is the appreciative inquiry method. So, hypothesis for this research is appreciative inquiry method has an influential to improve sense of community among 221 IFOP members. The study used a research design quasi-experiment with one group pretest process research design. Research subject is 7 members of IFOP 221 with low to very low pretest categories. Instrument of this research is a sense of community index 2 scale from Macmillan and Chavis, which has been modified by researchers. And 2 guidelines for the implementation of the appreciative inquiry method based on the theory of Cooper-Rieder, Whitney, and Stavros. And this is the following is a comparison of pretest and post-test scores on 7 researched subjects. And this is the result of Wilcoxon test. The significance of the Wilcoxon test is 0.018, where the p-value 0.0018 less than 0.05 and z-score less than -1096. Then the hypothesis is accepted. The increase in sense of community in the 7 research subject was not only seen from the increase in pretest to post-test scores, but also based on the feedback given by them to researchers and also the result of researchers' observation during the implementation of the methods. Researcher subject gain new insight about the importance of communication and interaction in organization, increase subject interaction, getting to know each other better, and being able to express opinions and problem face. This method can increase active involvement in a group, use the positive potential of the group to increase the sense of community of its members, encourage individuals to come up with unique ideas and visions to community development, and can increase member social participation to achieve organizational goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahro. Is there anybody else want to add to the discussion about this IFOP? IFOP is how many, how old is IFOP?
It's 212 years since 212.
Okay, thank you. Kindly reminded everybody to apa ya, to see the chat room so you can make sure that your data is correct entered in the attendance in this ECOPC oral presentation class. Okay, and then thank you very much, Zahro. If there are any question, we will continue to the next presenter, Mr. Dedi Herdi Sutendi. Are you ready?
Okay.
You may
I'm ready.
begin the presentation. Thank you. I'm sorry, I missed one group of Muhammad Iqbal. Muhammad Iqbal, is it okay that I started with Mr. Dedi first?
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Okay. I'm so sorry. You may continue, Mr. Dedi.
Okay. Uh, my PPT still
Yes, we can see
already
clearly.
you see. Okay, thank you.
Aldinda, don't forget to time.
Oke nih, siap.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you be healthy and full blessing from God.
Amin.
Okay, we discuss about humor. I think this topic very interesting because humor is make our lives full color ya. Okay, I am Dedi Aristandi from Ahmad Dahlan University, Master in Science Psychology. I'm going to share modification of the multidimensional sense of humor scale, MSHS, measurement tool for Muslim student in the Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta. Okay, the first point I'm going to share about introduction. There is no single definition of humor that is accepted by experts from various disciplines. Humor is related to entertaining, laughing, being happy, breaking social rigidity, and even psychological therapy. And humor is included in virtue transcendent. I think this very interesting that humor is included in virtue transcendent. And humor is considered a fundamental and intrinsic part of human nature, experienced in almost every type of interpersonal relationship and has a wide impact on every day. In Islam, humor used in dakwah. Prophet Muhammad used humor too on various occasions. Even in Quran and Hadith, it is stated that God loves at human behavior. In dakwah, Islam, we know dakwah. In Islam, dakwah has a very important function in delivering messages and advice. Dakwah delivered with humor can build comfortable communication. Messages are received pleasantly and advice tucked in humor is easier to accept. Next point, literature review. MSHS, the first formulated by Thorson and Powell. This MSHS consisting of 4 factors with 24 items. The 4 factors are the first, combining humor production and social use of humor. The second, including items related to coping or adaptive humor. And the third, appreciation of humor. And the fourth, attitude towards humor. MSHS modification, we modification the MSHS Thorson's and Powell's are carried out while still using the theoretical framework and several relevant items from the original scale to be modified by revising and adding items according to research need. Okay, and Next point, method. The research subject, this study in the Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, consisting of 42 men and 36 women obtained by purposive convenient sampling technique. Method and collecting data, the modified MSHS measuring instrument consisting of 42 items with Likert scale was sent to students via online media using Google Form. And our instrument, original MSHS, consists 24 items, and we modify MSHS mid distribution items to trial items for Muslim student. This our distribution of MSHS modification trial items for Muslims consists 42 items. And next, our data analysis method. Data analysis was carried out into two stages. The first stage of analysis of the reliability of each vector using the alpha formula, and the second stage of calculating the reliability of the composite securing using the Mercier formula. This Mercier formula. And next point, result. The result, the first step, with two steps, yeah. Result of the reliability analysis for vector. For the first vector, of the 42 item tested, 28 item passed. In the first item, there are 14 good items with psychometric property value 9. The lowest item discriminatory index is 0.5994, and the highest is in the first factor is 0.752, and in the second factor we have 7 good items that the psychometric properties, the alpha value 7 to 6.
Sorry,
And-
Mr. Dedi, you have
okay.
3 minutes left.
Okay. The result, we have the result. We can read this table, and yeah, by Mercier formula, the result was the reliability of the composite score of the modified MSHS was 0.946. So this very good for reliability score in Mercier. The reliability coefficient of the modified MSHS measuring instrument is not much different from the original MSHS of 0.92, Thorson and Powell, and other research will say with reliability the same of the MSHS original. The modified sense of humor scale of MSHS shows that Islamic spiritual character strength can be collaborated with character strength humor. Humor is a character strength that is included in virtue transcendent. And this research is useful for Western cultures who are struggling with the psychological problem of Islamophobia and an arrangement of perspective. And finally, conclusion, the modified MSHS sense of humor measuring instrument has adequate psychometric properties to be used in collecting sense of humor data in the Muslim community. Thank you for your attention. Full blessing for us. Assalamualaikum
Amin.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Dedi. Is there anybody want to ask a question? This is a very interesting part because I always struggle with the multi-dimensional instrument. How we have to deal with multi-dimensional? Do we have to break down its dimension, right? Because like psychological well-being, it's also a multi-dimensional instrument, but people use it as if they're not multi-dimensional. So this was interesting if the composite properties, and I would also like to know what's the modified question, modified in modified items before you modify them to have a Muslim's virtue. Can you give me an example? One item.
One item.
Yes.
Nothing special different. Items MSHS, Tarzan and Powell with this modification because humor is universal
Language.
universal, yes, universal language, universal values, yeah. And I think we interesting that humor acceptable in Muslim. This
I see,
message
I see.
that's humor. Muslim not because Muslim now at prison describe apa fundamentalism,
I see. So you
terrorism,
portray
and
the
I think
Muslims in the different view.
yes, okay,
Okay, they also
yes, humor.
humorous. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you,
Dedi.
thank you.
Is anybody want to ask Mr. Dedi question or add to the discussion, recommendation, suggestion? No? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Dedi. I will continue to Mr. Muhammad Iqbal Fahrul Firdaus. I'm sorry, you're supposed to be your presentation time. Okay, Mr. Dedi, can you
Okay.
unshare screen? And then we continue to Muhammad Iqbal. Okay, Muhammad Iqbal, if you're ready, you can start your presentation. Thank you. And then Aldinda, please remind Iqbal 3 minutes before time's up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this chance, I will present about the research done by me and the team, entitled Increasing Teacher Skills in Guiding Students with Special Needs Through Trainings. There are still many problems in educational sector in Indonesia today. These problems are caused by various factors such as low level of effectiveness of education, lack of efficiency in the implementation of learning, and lack of standardization of learning, especially for students with special needs. In education for students with special needs are the problems that often arise apart from the students themselves, are the inability of schools to meet the facilities and infrastructure that support their development. The lack of detailed competence in identifying and handling students with special needs, inequality in access to education for students with special needs, and the high cost
Okay, you can
of
continue.
okay, and the high cost of education and psychological intervention for children. These problems are the focus of the government and educational institutions in order to realize a higher quality of national life, especially for children with special needs. The number of children with special needs is increasing day by day. In 2017 alone, the Central Bureau of Statistics, or so-called as BPS, noted that there were 1.6 million children with special needs spread throughout Indonesia, but those who had received inclusive education, general education, or who had not yet received access to education at all due to age, economy, and parental awareness. The second problem is often the identification and handling of students with special needs produce vague and even wrong conclusions, so that the learning provided is less adaptive to the limitations experienced by students, so that students feel left behind and less than optimal in carrying out learning activities. This can certainly have a negative impact on students, teachers, parents, educational institutions, the whole. Therefore, handling students with special needs. That's the literature review. I will explain briefly. Andragogy is a form of education that aims to make adult people develop abilities, attitudes, and behavior in accordance with full personal development based on proportional social, economic, and cultural development. And the training is all planned efforts made by individuals to achieve mastery of a certain skill, knowledge, or attitude that's relevant to the job. The method of this research is use quantitative research with the design of one group pre-post-test experimental research. The research is done with 3 steps. First, participants were given a pretest in the form of knowledge questions about the teaching of special needed children. And the second step is training. And after the training, participants were also given the post-test questions. Okay. The training activities on the learning method for students with special needs is done 2 days. The first day is introduction and delivery of obstacles in conducting learning for students with special needs, and knowing about inclusive education, watching videos about characteristics of students with special needs, and knowing the characteristics of children with special needs and practical advice for teaching children with special needs. And the second day is individual learning program and its creation. The result of this research, based on descriptive statistics analysis, the difference between the two group pretest and post-test was 0.3. This means that there's a decrease in participants' knowledge about the learning development of students with special needs after the training. Before testing the hypothesis, the data normality test was carried out using the Shapiro-Wilk method. This method was used because the amount of data analyzed was less than 30. The results of the data normality test showed that the data were normally distributed with p-value 0.95 or more than significance value 0.05. Hypothesis testing study resulted in a p-value more than 0.05, meaning that there was no difference between before and after the training. The magnitude of the effect of treatment in the form of training on the post-test results was indicated by the Cohen's d value or coefficient below 1, which was 0.065, which means that the treatment effect is of small value. Results of hypothesis testing indicated that the changes that occurred were not significant, so that it can be said that the treatment in the form of training does not bring the changes that occur. If it was further analyzed, it appears that the pretest scores of the trainees were on average 6.2, while this value can be interpreted that more than 60% of the questions can be answered correctly. However, the findings of the study indicated that there is no significant difference between the teaching abilities of teachers before and after attending the trainings, because they were absent on the second day of testing, and a significant difference in teaching skills of students with special needs before and after training. So it can be concluded that training actually did not affect the competence of teachers in providing learning to students with learning disabilities. Thus, other methods are needed to improve the abilities of teachers. And I think it's enough. So I will thank Mrs. Farah as the moderator and Aldinda as the operator and all the member of this parallel session in the 6th room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Is there any question to ask? Because usually training has an effect. Maybe
Yes.
what's the team measure is not the right one. Maybe
Yes.
you should measure the cognitive, not the skill part, because it's only held 2 days. So I guess maybe you should consider to refine your research. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anybody want to ask question, suggest? Nobody? Okay, thank you very much, Iqbal and team.
Thank
We will
you for
continue.
the chance.
Thank you, and we'll continue to Sri Andayani.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
I'm
you may present and begin your presentation.
okay.
I will kindly remind everybody to fill in the presence in the chat room link. So you, if there are any mistakes in your name or in your title, you can correct it before we before we proceed. Okay, thank you. You may continue.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sri Andayani. I'm the one of the team members in this research. Today, I replace Dr. Nur Eva to present our research. Our research proposed to find how to effective training to improve psychological well-being for Indonesian citizens abroad. It's mostly work data of Indonesia work in mostly in the informal sector. And formal sector only 8%. And it might be show a problem related to work as a migrant worker is non-procedural departure, unilateral layoff at work, insurance claim, salary that are not accordance with the contract, various acts of violence received by migrant worker. The problem in decrease of psychological well-being level of the migrant worker. And then to improve the psychological well-being migrant worker is not only by giving material appreciation. Psychological well-being also needs to be improved with something that we can increase the psychological part the migrant worker. So far, the training conducted for migrant worker is related to their work skill and competencies. Training to improve psychological well-being also needs to be given to migrant worker. The psychological aspect given in training cannot be just one aspect, but the collaboration of several related aspects. The psychological well-being needs to be improved for migrant worker, on one of which is through training. Our research method use experimental research design of one group pre-post test design. The treatment given is the form training to improve psychological well-being with the title Hero for Hero Training. Before the training start, participants were given a pre-test in the form of psychological well-being scale from RIF. Then after the training was complete, participants were also given the same scale, and the training carried out for a day by conducting several sessions as follows. This is the training activities. There is a 6 session. Session 1, introduction and delivery of psychological problem experience. And then session 2, material 1, knowing psychological well-being. Session 3, anchor and the visual squash. This is a relaxation or role play. And then session 4, role play. The participant practice the material 2, and then session 5 is material relaxation, and then role play, and the last is review. The result, this is demographic data. So the participant is 76% are undergraduate or bachelor student, and then there are the participant job is a teacher, private sector, and freelance. The most participant is freelance. And then the hypothesis result. The p-value of the analysis is 0.002, which means less than 0.05, meaning that there was a difference between before and after training. The magnitude of the effect of treatment in the form of training on the post-test result indicated by the match rank Bisarial. Correlation value below 1, which is negative 0.627, which means that the treatment effect is of small value. And then the discussion, this training was attended by 33 participants and result in increase in level psychological well-being. This training include in small group training. Research shows that small group
I'm
training.
sorry, Ms. Rihandayani, can you zoom out, zoom
Okay.
in, or you can
Okay.
play? This is so small.
Okay. Okay. Research show that small group training positively affect participants and improve learning outcome. This could happen because group size affect the social dynamic within the group. Larger groups are associated with decreased individual student performance, poorer social interaction, and less diversity. Smaller groups have greater social cohesion and greater perception of tasks. Therefore, the size of the training participant can be one of the causes of the success of this training. And then the education level of the trainee or the participant is undergraduate according to the research. The level of education affects the result online training. Higher education background will motivate an individual to learn and get to know what they learn in training. The explanation above can be interpreted that higher education is able to influence a person's drive to try to understand what is conveyed in the training, so that this can be used as a reference for why this training can be successful. With the same level of education, this participant can be said to be a peer group. A study found that peer group intervention contribute 51.9% in improving psychological well-being. The training in this research was conducted online. A study showed that online learning does not provide full benefit, and the online learning process is neglected by participants. Another study compared mental health intervention with online and in-person media or offline. The results show that online intervention could be an alternative, but the result could not be compared to those carried out offline. This could be one of the possible small effect of treatment on participants, even though there are still changes in the level of psychological well-being. The other factor, work is one of the factors that influence psychological well-being of individuals. In this study, most of the trainees work in the education sector, so they were familiar with learning method using online media, especially during the pandemic. So this is the one of the factors that also affects the increasing level of psychological well-being of the trainees. The conclusion of our research is training hero for hero can increase the psychological well-being of individual with the status of Indonesian citizen domicile abroad. The success of the training is supported by the homogeneous characteristic of the trainees in terms of education and work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sri. Is there anyone want to add to the discussion of this presentation? What actually you train? Do you train? Do this team train?
Mostly there is a teacher.
No. What do you train? Is that I only read relaxation. Is that on relaxation? How to cope with the everyday problem, or what? What the
Okay.
content of the training?
The content of the training is the variable of the training is increase psychological well-being, and the content is we teach the participant relaxation and some of technique of relaxation, and the problem of the participant is usually daily problem, mostly on pandemic situation. They have many daily problems such as PPKM. In Indonesian we call PPKM, and
Lockdown.
in Malaysia, yes, and in Malaysia they call something restriction something. Sorry, I forget the name.
Okay.
And it causes a problem for their psychological aspect. And I'm sorry. The focus is the main problem of the participant is they have they feel discrimination from Indonesian citizen and Malaysian citizen. So it may
Affect.
yes, it affects the psychological aspect of the participant.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Rihandayani.
Okay.
We will go on to the last presenter if there are no question. Okay. We will continue with Mr. Ahmad Muhammad Diponegoro and Yuzairon.
Assalamualaikum
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh. You may start, Miss.
Okay. Okay, it is my topic is almost the same with the first, but it is quantitative. If my first research is qualitative, this one is quantitative. The chapter is developing the characters achievement test in university. The study of character strength among Muslim students. Okay, it is important for us, for Muslim community, that human need to have good character. And good character also studied in psychology, especially positive psychology. They call it character strength. And they conduct many studies in character strengths because they found out people who has good character, they look happier and they have more successful life compared to people who have bad character. So they try to find what is good character in the East, especially among religions, Islam religion and also any other religion, and they found out that there are 24 character strength. And in the first presentation, I just do research 5 character strength, but now we try to improve more items because we do quantitative research. In Muslim institution, especially school and universities, they teach character and they call it akhlak. And in some institution, we found that students are not able to pass the exam if they don't have good character. Although they have good record in mathematics or physics or any other knowledge, but if they don't have good character, they cannot pass the exam. And many universities start the activities by introducing good character to the students. The aim of the study is to develop an achievement test, because that can be used to measure student knowledge of character, or in Arabic we call it akhlak. Recently, character is one important study in positive psychology, especially in the field of virtues and character strength. There are similar words we found in character strength and character in Muslim studies, and some with different interpretation. For example, in character strength, we found the word gratitude, and in Islamic studies and akhlak study, we found the word shukr, asyukru, gratitude. And forgiveness, we found in Quran and in Hadith. There is also the forgiveness. You have to forgive. You have to ask forgiveness, and also love of learning, because people who learn is much better compared to who don't want to learn. Also courage, we found in Holy Scripture and also in positive psychological studies. Okay. Now we go to Muslim Islamic character. The word character in Islam, we call it akhlak. Akhlak is the plural form of huluk. Huluk is the singular. We found in Quranic verses, wa innaka la'ala khuluqin azim, yeah, that our prophet has very good character. Also rooted from the word khalaqo. Khalaqo means create, which means to create. It is rooted in the word khaliq. Khaliq is creator, is also the name of Allah, another name of Allah. And makhluk, makhluk is which is created. And khalq is creation. The similarity of the root word above implies that immorality includes the notion of creating integration between the will of Khalik, the creator, and behavior, makhluk. Okay, next. So we see that akhlak or character is how to behave between servant and God, and between servant, and between servant and environment. So from this point of view, we develop items for the achievement test, yeah, as for character. Yeah. By writing multiple choice tests. And we need professional judgment to see whether this test is good for the student or bad or need to be corrected. Character also is taught, I have told you that in many Islamic institutions and universities, they taught Islamic character. The test instrument developed was focused on the dimension of cognitive process, namely remembering is taking knowledge from long-term memory, and cognitive knowledge is divided into 6 levels. Maybe you know very well about Bloom. Knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Okay. So we try to find the discriminating power of our test. The discriminating power is the average value obtained from the mean RP's value obtained from item analysis. So we use this program called item version 4.3. It is the newest version. The result of the discriminating power were obtained from the analysis of quantity tests which had an RP's value of less than 0.25. And also, because we do multiple choice, the incorrect answer, we call it distractor. Yeah, the correct answer, there is correct answer 1, and there is another 3 incorrect answer, and we call it distractor. The distractor is said to be effective if there are 5% of students who choose or more of the lower group. The answer choices consist of a key and a distractor. The answer key must be the correct or most correct answer, while the distractor is the incorrect answer. But the distracting power must function, meaning the student may choose it if they don't master the materials. Then it is distract the student concentration. Result and discussion. The result of the development research obtained from achievement tests based on cognitive taxonomy Bloom. The results show that the reliability of the test is 0.938, the alpha. According to Sugiono, the measuring instrument is said to be reliable when it meets the minimum Cronbach alpha score of 0.6. And according
Mr. Ahmad, I'm sorry, we cannot hear you clearly.
Now difficulty value was obtained from the miss.
Mr.
Now?
Ahmad, there are only 3 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. The difficulty level. Can you hear me now? Right now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
Okay. So it is almost finished. Yes, we have difficulty level, and oh yeah, okay. The result of difficulty level obtained is 0.643. Okay, and some item we remove because they have RPP's value less than 0.25. Right? Namely number 15, 16, 22, 27, 29, and 38. Okay, I think that's enough. Address conclusion, maybe we don't need to read it. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this instrument was intended to whom, Mr. Ahmad?
Yeah, instrument to know the knowledge of the student. Then it is objective test. It is cognitive test.
What level of
Well,
education?
For university student.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. That was an interesting one. All the Jogja participant is participate in measurement topic, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. Is there any question to add to the discussion? Okay, if there aren't any, so I guess that's a wrap. That's it for this room 6. But before we close, I think we need to take a photo, some photo. Okay, please turn on your camera. And Mas Aldin will take a picture of us. Okay.
Okay, let's take a picture together. I will continue. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for everybody. It's been a wonderful afternoon. So I hope we learned something from this presentation and continue the good work. Don't stop, and may Allah grant us our healthy. Okay, bye-bye everybody. I'm sorry if I make any mistakes. See you next journey.
Thank you.
See you next.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
If there are any question about the next steps about the paper and all, you can contact the panitia, the committee. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Istirahat.